Hi, my name is Philip Doherty, and I'm an AI product manager at Lippert in the Care Center, where my whole role is essentially to develop AI solutions that help both our customers and our team members. And so this is a little overview of our customer experience journey as we've implemented conversational AI in this industry. Just jump right in. So in this slideshow, we're just going to go through a couple things, just kind of go over what the business is, what it is that we do, some of the challenges that we've faced, the solutions that we've come up with, including conversational AI, and the results of that, and then what we're looking forward to in the future with all of this. So our business, we specialize in producing and selling a diverse array of products. Lippert is a manufacturing business at the end of the day, but we're in a ton of different sectors, including the RV industry, the marine industry, towing, outdoors, and residential. So if you own an RV or you know someone who owns an RV, there's a really good chance that most of the parts in that are our parts. Because it's so diverse, though, there are a lot of challenges that we face. So let's jump into some of those. So, of course, in a manufacturing and in the manufacturing space, you've got a very complex inventory already, just because you're creating a lot of small components that go together with bigger components. And on top of that, like I said, because we're in so many different markets, that just only adds to the complexity there. So, additionally, we have to address the needs of our different customer segments because we are both a B2B business and also a B2C business. We work with dealers, OEMs, which are original equipment manufacturers, and retail customers as well. And so this each segment of our customers require different things from us, right? They need different kinds of help. They have different expectations with the relationship that we have with them. And so this creates obviously a big challenge of how do we address all of those appropriately. Next, we do an extremely high volume. Again, with so many markets, there's always volume coming in and there's always volume going out. And so this creates its own challenges as well, where we've got customers, like I said, not only in these different segments who have their own needs, but just customers who need things on every end of the spectrum, from just setting parts up, putting parts together, to maintaining those parts, to replacing parts. And a lot of this requires what I would call specialized knowledge, which is the knowledge that you have to have a deep knowledge and understanding of not only our business, but of the products themselves. And this is about 80% of our contacts. So about 80% of the people who reach out to us at the care center who need help, they need something that requires a lot of nuance, right? We really need to know what the part is. We really need to know what the model of the RV is, right? Maybe the floor plan of it. There's a lot of different things that the combination of all this information can give us different outcomes. And so again, it requires that specialized knowledge that our great technicians and parts members have. So when we start looking at solutions to deal with some of these challenges, one of the obvious ones, of course, is to expand teams, hire more customer service agents to assist the customers. And of course, we've done that. There's also process optimization, where we really review what it is that we're doing when customers contact us and trim them down. Can we make this more efficient? Get rid of everything extra. And I think those two solutions they're kind of the obvious ones. They're the ones that just make sense. And they're the ones that everybody leans into at first, but they really only got us so far, right? I mean, you can continue to expand, but obviously there's costs with that. Again, our business is so complex that getting team members up to speed, that becomes a challenge. And so we started looking into self-service solutions, which included the addition of conversational AI, which is exactly why we're here today. So this is kind of like just an example of what goes on in our business that I think if you keep this in the back of your mind, it'll help understand the use cases. So for example, we might have a dealer who they need to know the price of a part and if this part is available for replacement they're doing probably on a retail customer's coach. And so they'll call in, and that call takes on average about 5 to 7 minutes. Again, this is because we're looking up things in systems. This is because we're collecting their information. The replacement component of this could add a factor in, like for example, if a part that they need is no longer available or it's obsolete, it's been replaced with something newer. So again, this might require an agent to intervene there and help guide them towards what product they actually do need, as well as what if they replace it with something that's newer, are there other components that are now out of date, right? So there are a lot of, again, moving pieces. And if it's the simplest form where it is just a price lookup and an availability lookup, that still takes about average 5 to 7 minutes. So when we began the conversational AI journey at the time, so several years ago now, 3, 4 years ago now, and at the time, flow-based chatbots were kind of the rage. And ultimately they still are. Um, so it's the flow-based chatbots will be really simple, right? Like asking a question, getting the input back, and then making a decision based on whatever that input was. But again, like I said, so much of what we do in our business requires specialized knowledge, and so this becomes really difficult to automate, and especially because this is pre-generative AI. That was a couple years later that came out, and even now, generative AI, of course, has its own issues, so we don't currently use that. But the specialized knowledge made it hard to expand to everything we wanted to cover, right? We really wanted to offer as much self-service as possible, but we had to narrow it down and identify our three main use cases, which are really the three most automatable, if that's a word, use cases, including part price, part availability, and order status and tracking. So these, of course, would be in the sense in that flow-based chatbot. These, of course, are very direct input output, right? What is the SKU number? This is the price. What's the SKU number again for part availability? This we have it in stock or we don't, and then order and status and tracking. Of course, you have to collect some more detailed information to make sure it's the right person and all that. But again, same simple flow-based design. So when we started this journey, we picked our first vendor, and they helped us build out those three main use cases. But we really ran into challenges with them, and this I think highlights some of the challenges in the AI, the conversational AI space in general, which is that you don't know what you don't know until you get in there and start playing in that space. And this is exactly what we found out with our first vendor. Right, we wanted them to build most of it and to do most of that heavy lifting. But what we found is that because our business changes so much, again, with so many different markets and so many expanding constantly, it made it really difficult to communicate those changes to them and for them to build them and us feel confident with what they built. So again, they kind of had a black box. They most of what they did was behind the scenes. We couldn't see it, and this really created an issue with us being able to empower our business users to own that software and then make changes on the fly and develop new solutions as we thought of new ideas, right? We were always very limited by, we can't see everything that's back there, everything that they're doing. We don't know that exactly. And then, of course, we're trying to communicate our needs. They're trying to interpret those and spit something back out. And I think anybody who's worked with vendors knows that it's always tricky to do that and do it effectively. So like I said, though, we didn't know those things until you get there, and you don't really know, especially again with conversational AI, how powerful it can be or not based on is your data organized and all of that. So we learned a lot of lessons with our first vendor, but ultimately we realized that we were going to need a vendor that could allow us to take control of it better and have the resources to support that. And so this is when we started working with Cognigy. And so I've got like three things here that to me are really important about the relationship we have with Cognigy and about the software. So kind of like I said already, right? And being able to empower our business users, that was huge. So what I love about Cognigy in particular is that they have a whole library where they teach you how to use the software, and we're able to then bring in people who know our business already, and because it's hard for someone to come in, and like I said, it takes months, maybe years to get somebody up to speed in our business in a care center. Whereas with Cognigy, because they've got all this nice content laid out for you to learn the platform, you can learn that rather quickly. And so it's easier for us to take somebody who knows our business and help them learn Cognigy than it would be to do the opposite. So this has been very helpful for us to empower my peers and the people I work with to make awesome things in the platform. So to that same point, the low code, no code design of Cognigy is fantastic. It's very simple UI, super easy to use and to learn. It kind of just all is seamless, makes sense. And so we've been able to start with, like I said, these very basic like flows, kind of doing something simple, but at the same time, Cognigy is complex enough where if you want to do something that's more complex, you certainly can. The options are there too with like all the code nodes and all of that. So that's been awesome too. That when we, my team gets with our data team, we're able to create really cool things within Cognigy. And the last thing that really for us in particular, again, having such a diverse business, having so many products, that's huge is the lexicons and the ability to attach metadata to those lexicons. So the lexicons, of course, is where we're able to essentially teach the bot the language of our business, which is that, hey, this is one of our products, this is the name of the product, and here's some important things to know about that product. Like first off, that product is an RV part versus maybe a marine part. And then secondly, this product gets handled by this team. And then again, we're able to attach even more metadata behind the scenes for our own purposes to kind of categorize our products so that way we can measure what our customers saying to us, like what products are the customers bringing up the most, what are they searching for, what are they talking about, and that helps us know, hey, do we need to staff our queues differently? I mean, do we need to make changes on our back end here to support what our customers are doing, right? Before, there's a lot of guessing involved, and now we're able to actually like measure this and make changes based on it. So that's all been awesome, and some of the reasons that I thoroughly enjoy the platform and like working on it. And so this is one of the examples of one of the flows we built. So like I said, so most of our use cases that we have today are more or less straightforward. They're input output, because we get into that gray space where it gets really complex. There's a lot of pieces of information you need to collect from the user to give them an appropriate response. But manual overrides are something that we decided, we've got content on this. Maybe we can start here, try to help customers get a little more into the self-service realm. So a manual override, just so you know, is essentially, let's say you've got a jack which stabilizes your RV when you're at your campsite, right? So that's why when you're walking around in it, it's not wobbling on you. Sometimes they get stuck down, right? Maybe the electronics fail, maybe it's a hydraulic and the hydraulics fail, whatever it might be, you might need to get the jack up manually. And so a manual override is the process of doing that. And so in this flow, you can see these little snippets here. Somebody can click the manual override walkthrough button, and then they're asked for the product. In this case, went with the ground control. And we're able to teach the bot to recognize that, hey, ground control, although that's one of our products, it's not specific because we've got different versions of ground control. And so you can see the bot say back to them, hey, is this the ground control 3.0 or the ground control travel trailer? And the user is able to click one of those again. And the bot gives them that confirmation and says, hey, I can help you with that. Actually, there are a couple things I can help you with related to that. I can help you with both your electric jack or your landing gear. And so then the user, of course, narrows it down a little further. And we have these awesome YouTube videos that our Tech Institute puts out, and we're able to serve those up right in the chat. So of course, the user could click on that and go to YouTube, but they're also able to watch it right there in chat, which is really helpful, especially when you're doing something that is like a step-by-step process, of course. It's one thing to read it out of a manual. It's another thing to get walked through it live. And then it's another thing to have a video that you can pause, speed up, rewind, whatever you want to do with, to make sure you can get through that process. And so that's just like one of the simple flows we've got. And then on the far side, you can see this is that metadata I was talking about. So what's nice is that we make note that, hey, it's a ground control. That's an RV part. If you look down a little further in the middle there, you see the data section where we know, hey, this is the queue that goes to. Here's the product type. And of course, then the name of the product as well. And so we can all track that on our own through the OData feed that Cognigy offers and manipulate the data in like Power BI, for example. And since then, we've also made really cool changes to the product type to give us even more benefit to that data. So there's really like no limit here. And I love that you could put the video right in the chat. I just think that was awesome. So that's one of the flows that we do now that's more in the self-service realm. So you can see how like the lexicons have really helped us to manage the plethora of SKUs and parts that we have, right? Like the customer, we take the weight off the customer. The customer no longer needs to know what team they need to reach out to, right? They don't need to know what team they need to get to. They just need to tell us the product, and we'll do the rest for them, right? Just take that off their shoulders. Of course, we can create flows for all of our different customer segments. So actually today, if in our bot, we actually ask customers up front, are you a retail or a dealer or an OEM? Because then what we know we can do is, of course, if they're a dealer or a business partner with us, we know that they've got an account number. We can confirm their account number, and this helps us treat them more individualistically. So that's awesome. And then, of course, we've got 24/7 support for them now with the bot, at least for these three main use cases. And they don't have to wait in line for those things. It's like I said, it's 24/7. So that's super helpful because we do get a lot of customers who really quickly think, hey, I just need the price of this part real quick. I'm here with the customer and I just need to get it, right? Things like that. And so now they've got access to that literally all the time. So that's helped with our volume tremendously. And so those are kind of the ways that we've addressed some of those challenges that I discussed earlier. And so some of our results. So since launch last year, and this number will be higher now, we've had 178,000 conversations. We've had a cost reduction of about 80%. So on average, it is about 80% more cost effective, and so therefore 80% cheaper, more or less, right? For the bot to handle one of those use cases than for an agent. So like I said, that original example I gave you, the call that would take 5 to 7 minutes compared to someone doing it through the chatbot, getting part, price, and availability, 80% cheaper to do it through the bot. So that's amazing. And then one other thing that was kind of surprising, so in our bot, right, if you're looking for part availability or you're looking up a SKU for the price, we link them to the store. Actually, we offer them the opportunity to go purchase that right on our store. And so what we've actually seen is the conversion rate of purchases on our store has gone up because customers, they know right away, right? Oh, this is available, or I've got the price right here in front of me. And my guess would be, this is a guess, educated guess maybe, but that they feel more confident about going and making that purchase. And so we actually see a very good conversion rate of customers who come from the bot, go to the store, and actually put things in their cart and check out. So that's been really cool to see too. And I'm excited to see how we can maybe try to push that and take advantage of that in the future. So looking forward, right, we're going to certainly keep expanding on all of this. We do have a voice bot in the works right now, also on the Cognigy platform. So we're looking to launch that later this year. We're also looking into knowledge search options, both for customers and for our reps. Like I said, it takes a long time to get our reps up to speed with our business and with all of the products. I mean, I can't tell you how many products they have to know. It's really spectacular. They're incredible people for being able to handle it all. And what we're hoping to do is help them out a little bit, especially with the onboarding process, by providing them a conversational solution for them to quickly get information about products, right? So this would include taking our manuals and the information in our manuals and putting it in essentially a database, which you can actually do in Cognigy, and being able to return information to them by having the users just ask questions to it. So we're super excited about what we can do there. And then some other AI technologies, of course, we're implementing as well, our call summaries. We actually have those live. Some case classification, and then in the more distant future, I'm particularly looking to add additional AI agents, right? So right now we've got the one voice bot, but in the future, I think we'll have quite a few more. So all super exciting things, and it really wouldn't be possible if we didn't have a great platform. So yeah, thanks for tuning in and listening to me rant here for a little bit, and thanks to Cognigy for building something great.